everybody, welcome to Wild Boy Movies, the place to talk movies. And today, we're going to be reviewing M3GAN 2.0, the sequel to the 2023 Blumhouse movie, M3GAN. Right now, I'm going to have some information up on screen for you to read, like director, runtime, and PAA rating. All of that will be up on screen for you to read right now. But be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below your thoughts on M3GAN 2.0. But without further ado, let's get right into the pros. Alright, starting off, I gotta address the big elephant in the room with this movie. Yes, this is not a horror movie like the first one. Instead, it leaned into the action genre. It is now a full-on action movie, which was something that I was kind of like on from when it was first reported because, I mean, this is Blumhouse, and Blumhouse has been known for making horror movies, not action movies. But when the trailers were coming out, I was starting to be more open to it, and I think that, yeah, they did a good job with leaning more into the action stuff because it definitely was entertaining to see all the action sequences with M3GAN against the main villain of this movie, Amelia. I just hope that this isn't something that Blumhouse is just going to stick to with a lot more movies. I would want them to lean more in to horror movies, which is something that I'm glad that they're going to be doing with their next two movies, Black Phone 2 and Five Nights at Freddy's 2. At least that's what I'm hoping with FNAF 2 because they're saying it's going to be a lot more scarier than the first. But anyways, I thought they did a good job with like the action sequences in this movie because yes, they were definitely entertaining. And while it might be ridiculous to see M3GAN skydiving into like a military like base instead of her going around slashing people up like we got in the first movie, I thought they did enough well to make this a rather entertaining movie because yeah, I did end up liking this one. I also do gotta say that the cast members in this movie do a pretty good job in this film. The main ones being Allison Williams, Violet McGraw, and Jenna Davis as the three central characters in this movie. Especially Jenna Davis as M3GAN because I do think she does a pretty good job in that role. But I also do like the relationship that Gemma and her niece have in this movie that, yeah, I definitely would see that happening after what they went through in the first movie with M3GAN trying to kill people. And yeah, I felt like that they handled that relationship very well in the movie. And I did also like how Gemma did not trust M3GAN from the very beginning when she revealed herself to still be alive. Like, I like that relationship between Gemma and M3GAN and how it basically evolved throughout the movie. And yeah, I would get how Gemma would not trust M3GAN from the beginning because, as she says, she tried to kill her before. So why would she even trust M3GAN when she's giving vital information on how to get rid of Amelia? And yeah, I thought they played that up very well. And there is like a social commentary on like AI in this movie that I also thought they played up pretty well in this movie and is very timely in our world where AI is just everywhere. And I also gotta give credit to the villain of this movie, Amelia, because I thought they played up the character very well on her wanting to kill everyone who was involved with her creation. And I really like how they tied in Amelia's backstory and origin to the very first M3GAN movie that we got just a couple of years ago. And while it kind of felt like a twist, I kind of saw that coming as soon as like we got the details that M3GAN would be fighting another robot in this movie. I immediately knew that would be connected to the first movie. But I thought they played that up very well in this movie, and they did have some great fights between M3GAN and Amelia. But overall, I did find this to be an entertaining sequel, and I would be down to see more of M3GAN in M3GAN 3.0, or the spin-off movie that we are getting in January titled Soulmate, which definitely has to be a horror movie. But there are still some cons that I have with this movie, so let's just get into those cons. Alright, starting off is the fact that it's an action movie. Now, I know I placed this into the pros category, and yeah, I do think that they handled the action in this very well and the action genre as well, but I still find it to be odd that we started this franchise as like a horror movie and then we jumped right into an action movie. And then the spin-off that I mentioned, Soulmate, we're going back to the horror genre. It's just kind of like an odd little franchise, but really that is just like a tiny little nitpick with M3GAN 2.0. But something that is a bit more of a nitpick is the PG-13 rating. Now, I understand why they went with a PG-13 rating because it would allow more people to go see this movie if people actually showed up for this movie. But it's just a little nitpick because when the first one was coming out, we heard that it was originally supposed to be an R-rated movie, but once the movie started to go viral on TikTok with M3GAN's dance from that first movie, they went ahead and cut out some parts of that movie and released it as a PG-13 film. And so if that hadn't happened, this would have been an R-rated franchise and we probably would still be leaning on the horror genre, but that's just like a tiny little nitpick because they released an unrated cut of the movie where it is essentially rated R with all the blood that was cut out from the movie. Though I don't know why they have an unrated cut for M3GAN 2.0 because I'm pretty sure they filmed this movie with the knowing that it would be PG-13. But yeah, that's just like another little nitpick with this particular film. But two other things that I will say for the cons that are actual like things that I kind of was not that big on was the fact that we didn't get M3GAN in her full robot self that we see right here, like this image up on screen, until like halfway into the movie because this is like a 2-hour movie, and once we get to that halfway point of that movie, within like an hour in the movie, we get M3GAN in her full form. And that was kind of like a little like ad thing because they have her like in this little like Amazon like toy thing that M3GAN describes as a plastic Teletubby. That kind of was like a little ad thing. But also there is a twist in this movie that I kind of wasn't really that big on. I was fine with it with the explanation that the twist gave, but to me I just really wasn't that big on that particular twist that happened in the movie. But those cons and nitpicks didn't stop me from enjoying this movie, and if we were to get a M3GAN 3.0, which I don't even know if it's likely due to the poor box office reception that the movie had, I would be down to see a third M3GAN movie. And I'm also a bit more curious on that spin-off movie Soulmate, which I did mention earlier. But this M3GAN universe is so far pretty good, and I would want to see more of it if we actually got more of it beyond the spin-off Soulmate in January. So for my scorecard, I'm gonna give M3GAN 2.0 3.5 stars, with the score out of 10 being 7.6 out of 10, with the percentage being 76%, with a grade of C, with my final verdict being unexpected but fun sequel. But that was my thoughts on M3GAN 2.0. I want to hear from you guys. What are you guys' thoughts on this movie? Go ahead and leave your thoughts down in the comment section. And while you're at it, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. And have a great day.